Taoyuan City, Taiwanese President Tsai Ing-wen pledged yesterday to step up military spending to defend the self-ruled island's sovereignty in the face of China's growing assertiveness in the region. Beijing has rattled its neighbors including Taiwan, which communist mainland leaders claim as their territory, as well as Japan and South Korea by sending military aircraft close to their airspace in recent months. China's attempt to expand militarily in the region is more and more obvious, Tsai said at a news conference at a military research center. Taiwan needs to stand up for its sovereignty, and it wants to protect regional peace, stability, and prosperity. China and Taiwan split in 1949 after Chiang Kai-shek's nationalists fled the mainland following a civil war. Beijing insists the two sides must unite, but surveys show most Taiwanese oppose that. The mainland is expanding its regional reach by developing aircraft carriers and building artificial islands to enforce Beijing's claim to large swaths of the South China Sea. This situation is, put simply, not just a problem facing Taiwan, Tsai said at the National Chung-Shan Institute of Science and Technology. It's one that countries are facing around the whole region. Tsai gave no details of possible military spending increases, but a national security official said in October that the government would seek at least 2% each year. Beijing increased military spending by 7% this year compared with 2016. For much of the past 2 decades, the People's Liberation Army has been awarded increases of at least 10% each year. Tsai has emphasized domestic development and production of weapons. The U.S. government approved a $1.4 billion arms sale to Taiwan in June but, in an effort to mollify Beijing, has been reluctant to supply everything the island's leadership wants. "We can't rely on others," said Tsai. "As the president, I have the responsibility to protect our sovereignty and the responsibility to maintain peace and stability in the region." Tsai, a 61-year-old law scholar who took office in May 2016, has irritated Beijing by rejecting its idea that both sides belong to one China as a condition for formal dialogue. China has tried to punish the island by scaling back tourist travel to Taiwan, according to travel agents in Taipei. The island's government also suspects that Beijing has persuaded 2 foreign governments to end diplomatic recognition of Taiwan since 2016. The institute where Tsai spoke has developed missile and radar systems and was picked by the Defense Ministry this year to develop trainer jets. The ministry also has signed up Taiwanese manufacturers to develop a $3.3 billion submarine. "Don't for a minute underestimate Taiwan's domestic ability to develop weaponry," the president said. Tsai suggested that countries in East Asia with similar ideas communicate about China's military movements. But she expects officials in Beijing to shun the use of force. "I believe any reasonable policymaker, and I believe the current Chinese leader is a reasonable policymaker, would not want to use military force at this time or at any time to resolve the Taiwan issue and that this wouldn't be his current strategy," she said. Over the past 2 years, Chinese warplanes have flown near Taiwan's military defense zone some 10 times, according to a former Taiwanese defense minister, Andrew Yang.